Hey guys, and welcome to part 6 of Spyro the Dragon. We, in this part, are now going to continue on to the rest of Magic Crafters. Last part we did Alpine Ridge and... Oof, what was the level again? High Caves, that's what we did. And this part we're going to be doing through Wizard Peak, Night Flight, no not Night Flight, Crystal Flight, I'm losing all the flights here, and the final boss. Well, final boss of Magic Crafters, not final boss of the game, that comes way later, but in any case, this is Wizard Peak. This level is probably my least favorite, if only because the way it's set up and structured makes it almost impossible to do things without having to backtrack a bunch of times. So I did finally, after many years, find a route to take so that it requires the least amount of backtracking. And it's what I'm doing now. At the beginning of the stage, there's a back way that you can go to reach this point here. It's the only way to get rid of that guy. And then once you do that, clear out these rooms and then backtrack to the beginning of the level, basically. The only problem is, at the beginning of the level, there's also another way to go. Whew, can't speak. There's another section at the beginning of the stage that's on the right side of the top. So, not only do you have to get that guy that you can't reach otherwise, you also have to go back to the top to glide to this other area that you also can't get to unless you go up there. So, it's a very complicated stage, very interwoven with each other, and to some that may be a really good thing because that encourages exploration and stuff like that, but I never look forward to coming here, if only because I usually tend to forget which way to go in terms of doing it the fastest way possible, you know. But luckily for this playthrough, I was able to do the path that is the best way to do it anyway. This is what I was referring to earlier. You go back up here and you still have to glide to get these gems. It's the only way to get those. So technically you have to backtrack at least 3 times if you don't know what you're doing. If you do know what you're doing, it's only like twice, but there's a lot of gems up here that you need to get, and some hidden gems behind all the walls and stuff, so it can be a tricky stage, especially if it's the first time playing, and you're like, what are all these gems, and how do I reach these guys that are up here? You know, so, but if you just follow this walkthrough, it's quite easy to do, if a little confusing at first, but you know, that's the beginning of the stage. Now we have to go through this section here, which will continue on the rest of it. Yeah, I remember my first time playing the stage, I was super confused, but...
Welcome to Wizard Peaks. This is my favorite supercharged spot. Use it to bash those wizards.
Something very interesting to note is that that dragon says Wizard Peaks, and it's Wizard Peak, as it's known as the title of the stage before you even enter the portal. I don't know if that was intentional, if that was a mess up, probably was, but I always call it Wizard Peak, even though that guy calls it Wizard Peaks. I'm sure some other people call it Wizard Peaks, but it doesn't really matter. It's still the same stage. So in this section here, basically, if you want to get past this area here, at least up to this point, you need 2 supercharges. You need supercharge level 2, basically. If you do supercharge level 1, you will not have enough height or distance to reach this area, so make sure that you use both of those ramps to get over here. Behind this platform is a thief, and probably the easiest thief in the game to get, if I'm being super honest. I think the only challenge of getting that thief is getting to this platform to begin with, using the supercharge level 2 and stuff, so not too hard. Just go back there and that's it. It's very easy. So this is, I don't know what to call these guys, the Santa Claus enemies. There's one of those particular enemies that goes up this whole thing, and apparently he's making things big, and this was my first time seeing that. After all these years of 100% in this game, that's the first time I've seen that wizard go up there and make everything big the way it was. Never seen it that way, had no idea. I usually just flame the guy when he's up there and he gives me a 25 gem, which we'll see later. That's probably the reason why, honestly, because he was the one that was making all those enemies big, but never knew that. Never knew he was the one to do that. I don't know if you guys knew that, but in this level there's fodder, there's these little sheep. not really sheep, it's more like a goat kind of, but for this section here, you also need supercharge level 2, at least I'm pretty sure. If you do supercharge level 1, you will not make it. Like I said in the last part, one of the only main challenges of this game is getting the hang of the supercharge mechanics, because if you don't understand that you need different levels of the supercharge to reach certain areas, you're just going to be doing everything with supercharge level 1 thinking, how in the world do I get to these places? Like, it can be very difficult, but once you know what you're doing, very easy game.
Thank you for releasing me.
So I believe I've gotten... No, okay, so this is the part where I was like, I think I've gotten every, but I didn't. After you supercharge up there, remember to get these 2 gems. They're just sitting there, and obviously if you jump after doing the supercharge, you're not going to get them, so... But... Another very nice way of using the supercharge is to just get around, at least to get to places quicker, like what I used it with there. I sometimes use it to just speedrun the game. I've never done a speedrun of this game. I would imagine that'd be very difficult. I did see the world record holder of this game's playthrough, and I was like, there's no way. I could never do that. I'm good at these games, but I'm not that good, you know, so... it actually brings up another point in terms of Spyro 1's different mechanics from the other 2 games that I'll bring up after I get this guy here. I think I got all the gems, I hope so. Usually this is like the moment of truth. I'm like, did I get him? Did I get him? Yes, I did. Cool.
Listen carefully, Spyro. There's a secret area in the artisan home. It is at the waterfall. Try jumping on the stones there.
Artisan home, waterfall. Sounds good.
They wait until now to tell you something that important. We're like 2 worlds in, man. It's not like it's the second world or later in the first one. No, they wait until the 3rd home world to tell you, hey, by the way, if you step on these stones in the first world of the game, you might get something. Like, come on. But like I was saying, there's a mechanic in this game that I don't think anybody has ever really brought up in the playthroughs that I've seen in this game, and it's that Spyro's charge is very different compared to Spyro 2 and 3, and to some, it might be a really good thing or a really bad thing, but I'll explain it once this level starts. So basically, how the charge works in this game is Spyro only charges depending on how long you hold down the square button. In the 2nd and 3rd game, Spyro, regardless, like if you were to tap the charge button, the square button, he would move forward a certain set amount of distance. In this game, if you just slightly tap the square button, he'll stop immediately. Like, he'll stop charging at the exact moment that you let go of square. And honestly, I wish they brought that mechanic back. I think it allowed for more precise, just precise movement in general, because there are some boxes in this game, or chests per se, that are very close to the edge, and if it were with the Spyro 2 or 3 mechanic of the charge, where it would just charge a certain distance before it stopped, that could lead to a lot of frustrating deaths and stuff. So I don't know, I think that's really good, at least especially for speedrunning, like I was mentioning earlier. In that speedrun, the guy used a lot of those very quick charges that just lightly tap the square button, and it worked out a lot, especially for getting through the levels really quick and stuff. So it would have been really cool if they just brought that back. But this level is actually probably the hardest speedway in the game, if I'm being super honest. If you go to the normal set path and try to get everything in the order that it throws at you, you won't be able to get them in time. And I usually mess up a lot, but I was able to do it in a certain order to get them 4 seconds before it ended, so that's good. Usually when I play this game, it takes me at least, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 tries or something, but got a first try when I'm recording, so that's good. Those speedway levels are really quick. Well, sorry, not speedway levels, the flight levels, as they're known as in this game. Very quick. But now that we're done with that, we only have 1 level left to go, and that's the boss realm of this homeworld, which is Blowhard. Very easy stage, and it's probably one of my favorite tracks in the game, to be honest, in terms of the music. I love the track in this level. It's awesome. I guess now's a good time to bring up my distaste towards Spyro Reignited's music in terms of the remix stuff. I'm sure the composer that did the music for that is a nice guy, you know, but that's to say, I don't think he knows a thing about what made the music in these games so good. And that's not to bring him down or anything, it's just more of an objective critique. Is that what made the music in these games so good was the intensity of the tracks, the bass, the cymbals, the drums. They were very dynamic and very forceful, you know. I don't know if there's another way to describe what I'm telling you guys, but especially in Spyro 1's case, every track in this game is booming and the drums are very loud and dramatic, and when you play the reignited versions of those track themes, they're very weak sauce. Like, I'm sorry, they're just not as good, and each instrument isn't as strong or gives you that sense of urgency, you know. But that's all subjective, obviously, but you know.
Thanks for releasing me, Spyro. You have no idea how long I've been trapped in Crystal. And, neither do I. Who are you again?
I'm out of here.
Love the old dragon banter between Spyro and them. It's so good. But yeah, so when I first heard the music for Reignited, I think it was for Toasty, and as some of you might know, I don't think so, I don't think I've said it yet, but Toasty is one of my favorite songs in this game. It's so awesome, it's incredible, it's great build-up, great drums, great bass. Oh, the bass is so good. And yeah, so when I heard that there was a video online with Toasty's new version for the new game, I got really excited, but when I heard it, I was like, oh no, they messed it up, they did not do good. And it was really disappointing, especially seeing it for my first time, because I was expecting it to be just the same music, but with new updated instruments, a new updated sound font, you know, stuff like that, and make their own twist and variations on things, which they did do, but for the most part, it's just repeating some of the same stuff, and from a creative standpoint, it's not that good, you know. So there are some tracks in Reignited that I think are slightly better than the originals, but they're very few and far between. Blowhard's track is not one of those. The originals, in my opinion, way better, but that was the stage. I'm sorry that I spent the whole stage talking about Reignited, but the stage is really easy. The boss, it's nothing to write home about. He just sits there and rarely throws those thunderbolts. Very easy to dodge. You just run out of the way and that's it. Thankfully, you don't take contact damage from enemies in this game. That'd be really bad. Unlike, you know, Crash Bandicoot or something like that. But yeah, guys, we finished Magic Crafters. Now we can go to Beast Makers, and that will be for the next part. So thank you guys for taking your time to watch the video. Please be sure to leave a like. That helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to comment and subscribe. Hope to see you guys soon.